Welcome back to Winners and Losers, everybody. And as you can tell, I am a clear loser this week. I'm wearing a Liverpool shirt. Utterly pathetic. Of course, I lost the VFN challenge, meaning I have to wear this absolute shit. Honestly, shit. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Who are our winners this week? The first one is Manchester United, Patrick Van Straten.
Yeah, guess who wrote the script this week? Joe Tomlinson. So Man United and Wayne Rooney are our first winners after a 4-0 win over Reading in the FA Cup. Reading, it's a huge game, you know? It's a massive. It's a home counties derby. Man United, all their fans live in Berkshire. Reading, all their fans live in Berkshire. It's basically a local derby. But United have now won 8 games on the bounce.
It's good.
For the first time since 2009. Huge results.
That is big.
No, I don't disagree. Wait, this is Jose Mourinho's best run since 2006 with Chelsea, which is genuinely quite impressive. However, United started Michael Carrick in this game. I know that you were opposed to this decision.
I couldn't believe it.
You can't get so many miles in those legs.
I can't believe it. He's
like,
35.
He needs a rest, but
rest him.
You can understand why he is playing, right? 15 games unbeaten with him in the starting lineup for United this season, and they've won 13 of those. That's really impressive stuff. But look, Reading were poor on the day. They've actually got the highest average passing percentage in the championships. They're a team that likes to stroke the ball around, but they only managed 72%. So that shows that Man United were breaking up play really well. And United put together 27 shots. When you put together 27, you know that you're going to score a few. They got in 4, and it's the most that Jaap Stam has ever faced as a manager, so it was not a happy return to Old Trafford for the Dutchman.
It wasn't, although he did get a good reception, but this was brutal. It should have been 8-0 at half-time, honestly. Anthony Martial was tearing that defence apart. Luckily for them, Marcus Rashford's finishing was a bit wayward on the day, even though he got 2. But there's only one man you can really talk about in that Manchester United forward line. Of course, it's Wayne Rooney, who equalled Sir Bobby Charlton's Manchester United goal-scoring record of 249 goals. Although, Sir Bobby did actually get 2 goals in the Anglo-Italian Cup, so he actually is 251. So you've still got 3 to go, really, Wayne, before you want to beat it. Nevertheless, he was okay. He did his job, he got his goal, he scored off his knee. He's been an incredible servant to Manchester United, though. 543 games at the club now, 249 goals. That's a great ratio. 0.49 compared to Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United, who was hitting 0.4. You're thinking about how good he was there. Georgie Best only managed 0.38. Wow. Even Bobby Charlton, although coming from a midfield position, was only 0.33. So Wayne Rooney, truly an icon of the club at this stage. Yeah. People arguing whether he's a legend, whether he's not a legend. Absolutely ridiculous. Of course he's a legend. Yeah, he is. He might have handed in a few transfer requests now and then. Nevertheless, that's modern football. Couldn't do it all the way back in the 70s, could you? I'm sure Georgie Best wanted to leave a few times. Wayne Rooney has done the exact same.
Twice, didn't he?
Exactly. So he is a legend at Manchester United. And one more point I want to make. Big Sergio Romero. The guy is a genius.
Is he?
Argentina's #1, Man United's #2, but he has kept 10 clean sheets in his last 15 Man United games.
Oh, what a player, man.
I love him.
What a player.
He's a legend, man.
Yeah.
He is a legend. Sergio Romero and Wayne Rooney, icons.
Our first losers this week are West Ham. Oh my God.
Where to start with West Ham? Honestly, we're going to look at their transfer dealings, but over the past few weeks, their performances on the pitch have been nothing short of disgraceful. Against Manchester United, they were appalling. Sofian Feghouli. What's happened? He's got to be the best #7 ever to wear a West Ham shirt, honestly. The guy is appalling. Of course, Mike Dean didn't have the best decision when he sent him off, but that miss against Manchester City was embarrassing.
Oh, it's incredible.
Combine that signing with Simone Zaza, and you've got the 2 worst bald men ever to play for West Ham in the club's history. Honestly, they've been disgraceful. They've conceded 7 in the last 2 games. The weekend's performance against Manchester City to lose 5-0 was disgusting. Nordveit at right back. Jesus Christ, what's gone on there? That own goal, an absolute shower of shit. Managed just 33% possession against Pep Guardiola's team, who were themselves struggling in the build-up to this game. Hadn't been great for a few weeks, but made West Ham look like a League One team. It's a shame as well, because West Ham, before the 2 Manchester games, looked like they were building a bit of form. 4 games unbeaten, 3 of them wins. However, back in the rut, 12th in the league, Slaven Bilic, in my opinion, is hanging by a thread. David Gold and David Sullivan, they'll be tweeting his execution letter within the next 2 weeks. Mark my words.
They are absolutely garbage. Simone
So bad.
Zaza, what a player. An incredible beard, an incredibly shiny head he's got on him, but he is wank when it comes to
So
football.
bad.
Now, it looks like West Ham have done the smart thing here and found the only club who is shitter than they are, which is Valencia, and they're trying to sell Simone Zaza to them, which would make sense. You know,
Yes.
that way they don't have to buy him on a permanent because he has been garbage. They've got Andre Ayew as well, of course, £20 million, 1 goal in 13
Club record
appearances.
signing, Andre Ayew.
What a signing that's been. Incredible stuff. But
Called
they've
it.
got some ideas about how they can fix this, mate.
I can't wait to hear this.
They've gone to Sunderland. Sunderland struggling to stay up. They've got a striker who is scoring goals, Jermaine Defoe. And you know what West Ham said? 6 mil we'll give you for him. We'll give you 6 mil for him. Bearing in mind that it's about £120 million if you stay up in the Premier League this season. Why would Sunderland accept 6 million now? They've also offered 3 million to Hull for Robert Snodgrass.
Hell of an offer. Lowballing.
They think they could go to a Premier League rival and offer them 3 million for potentially their best player. Arsenal paid 2 million for Rob Holding from the lower leagues. He's a 20-year-old centre-back. Don't take the piss, West Ham. It's unbelievable. So what have they done? They've gone to the Championship.
Yes.
This is actually the smart thing to do.
Not
They've
too
gone
bad.
they've gone to the Championship. They've gone to Brentford, who, as we know, have had an extremely good recruitment system in the past. Scott Hogan, he's scored 14 in 25 this season.
Good numbers.
That's an extremely good record, and in a really tough physical league, the Championship. He's also, I believe, 24, so he kind of fit the profile you want.
Nice.
But this is a little bit of a drop-off from the days of, you know, potentially Anthony Martial,
Ooh.
Daniel Sturridge,
Michy
Michy
Batshuayi. Stab another one in the dark.
What are they doing? And in true West Ham form, they've managed to fuck up potentially a simple deal by offering £10 million for a player that Brentford have said they want £15 million for. Well done, West Ham. I think that Slaven Bilic is going to be lucky to hold on to his job. As much as I like him and think he's a pretty decent guy, Gold and Sullivan, pull your fingers out of your asses, mate.
What are you doing?
It's going absolutely mental. And if West Ham don't want to get relegated, they need to get their shit together and get it together soon. You're in our losers.
Our next winner comes from Spain, and it's the indomitable Real Madrid, Patricia.
Yeah, they beat Granada 5-0 in La Liga
Yeah.
and beat Sevilla 3-0 in the Cup
Results.
in the space of 3 days. Incredible stuff. They're now 5 points clear of Barcelona in La Liga with a game in hand and 4 points above Sevilla, who remain in second thanks to Barcelona's poor result against Villarreal this weekend. Real Madrid are now unbeaten in 39 games. 30
That's
wins,
amazing.
9 draws. That equals a Spanish record, which was set by Barcelona. Their last loss was against Wolfsburg in the Champions League
Ages
in
ago.
April 2016.
Fuck!
That is incredible. In fact, Zinedine Zidane has won more trophies while in charge of Real Madrid than he has lost games. He's lost 2 games and he's won more than that. Trophies, I think 3. Let's go with 3. And look, this result against Sevilla was particularly impressive,
Yeah, it
given
was.
that they're second in La Liga. They're a very good side. As we know, they've got a big squad, a great manager. And Real Madrid did not play Bale, Ronaldo, Ramos, Pepe, Benzema, or Keylor Navas. Incredible stuff. What a tear they're on.
Yeah, their rotation policy is really working under Zinedine Zidane. Isco, the likes of Isco and James Rodriguez are really starting to come to the forefront. I mean, Isco against Granada was fantastic. Of course, got his 2 goals. He had 2 key passes in the game. He had a 94% pass accuracy.
Whoa.
He's looking seriously impressive. I mean, out of the Real Madrid squad, 20 out of the 21 outfield players have now scored. 20 out of the 21, that's amazing.
Who's the one who hasn't?
I'm not too sure, but
Ronaldo.
they've got to be absolutely gutted. Of course, that was after Casemiro scored on the weekend. Even the likes of James Rodriguez was talked about he could potentially leave the club. Chelsea were interested, Manchester United were interested. He's now committed his future. He has got the most assists of any Real Madrid player this season.
What?
9. Quite incredible, considering we think of him as potentially a bit of a backup role. Benzema as well. I can't believe how under the radar this guy has flown during his whole career. He's now the 8th top scorer in Real Madrid history after
God.
his goal on the weekend. The Frenchman has been working miracles at the Bernabeu for years now. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo is back after his rest against Sevilla, grabbed a goal as he always does against Granada after showing off his Ballon d'Or trophy. And let's face it, this was a demolition. Real were 4-0 up in 27 minutes. It could have gone on to be ridiculous numbers, but Zinedine Zidane chose to rest players. He pulled off Cruz at half-time, Isco just after. Very impressive stuff from Real Madrid. But who's going to beat them? Are they going to go this whole season unbeaten? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Next up in the losers category, Joe's going to be disappointed to hear it as their biggest fan. It's Liverpool.
Just because I'm wearing this shit top means nothing, mate. This was actually a lose-lose for me. I like Exeter as well, and Plymouth Argyle are Exeter's direct rival. Nevertheless, a great result for Argyle. 0-0 at Anfield. Jurgen Klopp, of course, naming the youngest team in Liverpool's history. Age just 21, the average. That's mental. Lucas was the oldest at 29. Ben Woodburn, age just 17, was the youngest. However, he didn't get the best out of it, and after the game he came out saying, I don't regret it. I think he might do later in the season with that fixture pile up. They were really good in the game as well, Liverpool. 77% possession. They had 28 shots, 11 on target. Just couldn't bust down that Argyle backline. Jurgen Klopp coming out after the game saying he didn't know how many people lived in Plymouth, but they must have all inhabited the Plymouth Argyle penalty area. It was parking the bus, I think it's fair to say, but you're expecting that elite team going to Anfield. You're not going to do anything else. It's a great result. He also bought on Sturridge, he bought on Lallana, he bought on Firmino after 75 minutes. Couldn't break that bastard of a door down that Plymouth Argyle put up. 0-0 at home. Not good at all for Liverpool.
It is incredible stuff from Plymouth.
Yeah.
Right? They're only the second team to stop Liverpool scoring at Anfield in the last 12 months. The other one, Man United, managed by Jose Mourinho. I mean, like, one of the modern age's best defensive coaches.
Yeah.
Plymouth are the first 4th division club to draw at Anfield since 1974.
That's ridiculous.
Let that sink in. That's unbelievable. Like, even Michael Carrick wasn't alive when that happened. It's a committed performance from them. They blocked 14 shots. They won 17 aerial duels. And they cleared the ball 56 times.
No.
So this was a rear guard action, but my God. Centre-back Sonny Bradley himself cleared it 14 times straight into Rosette. He knows where Rosette is. Don't know where the goal is, but they know where Rosette is. And he and Songo protected the goal with, frankly, I mean, about 4 buses. It was incredible stuff. Liverpool now have to go back down south. Obviously,
horrible trip as well.
Obviously, they've got some extra minutes in Sturridge, Lallana and Firmino's legs. It's not a nice trip. Fixture pile up, as Joe says. Will this cost them at the end of the season? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our next winner comes from the white half of London. It's actually Tottenham Hotspur. A great week for Pochettino, Pato.
It's not really a half, is it? It's like an 8th at best. But anyway, Spurs beat Chelsea 2-0 and Villa 2-0 in one
That's the big result.
week. It was an absolutely massive result. I mean, Aston Villa, the might of Aston Villa. But look, since May 2015, Tottenham have actually lost fewer games than any other Premier League side. They've lost 8. The next best is Arsenal, who've only lost 10. Chelsea, by comparison, have lost 16, and Liverpool have lost 14.
Wow.
So that really shows you how difficult they are to beat. 2 clean sheets in this game, despite arguably not being at their best in either of them, really.
Yeah.
But look, they were good versus Chelsea. I think it was a relatively even game, but they took those chances they got. Pochettino is obviously pretty confident in his system. When he was asked about it by a Sun reporter, he said, it's too complicated to explain to you.
That's quality.
Tells you everything you need to know about the Sun, really. But Spurs love a London derby. Pochettino has given them such a fighting attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, they're also a fantastic footballing side, but they just simply do not lose. They have not lost a London derby at home since Pochettino took over. And the progression of some of these young players has been unbelievable. I mean, obviously Walker and Rose are a bit older, but they've turned into maybe the best fullbacks in the league.
Definitely.
Eric Dyer, fantastic. Harry Kane. And even Harry Winks.
Yeah.
But there's one guy that you want to talk about, is that right?
Well, yeah, has to be Dele Alli. The guy is producing miracles at the moment. He has 7 goals in the last 18 days. That is mind-blowing. Bearing in mind, Jack Wilshere scored 7 goals in his entire career.
What a player.
At this point.
Well,
he obviously got his brace against Chelsea. One was an absolutely fantastic header back across Thibaut Courtois. And he just looks like he's about to take his game to that next level. Bearing in mind, he's already got 20 Premier League goals. That's quicker than Paul Scholes did it. He's done it in 50 games. Scholesy did it in 72. Lampard did it in 140. And it took Gerrard 169 games to get to 20 Premier League goals. So Dele Alli is blowing people out of the water at this stage. I mean, he's actually the 5th youngest Englishman in Premier League history to get to 20 Premier League goals. And when I read you the names that are ahead of him, your mind's going to be blown because it's Owen, Rooney, Fowler, and Alan Smith. But, I mean, 3 of those guys became legends legends.
And they're all strikers.
So Dele Alli, he is unbelievable at the moment.
Wow.
He also came on at the weekend and caught off the bench against Aston Villa, completely turned the game on its head. Steve Bruce, brilliant quote after the game, said, "I wish he'd sat on his arse, but we have to accept that you do, Steve. That's football. Substitutions are allowed." And Pochettino effectively won his game because he brought Dele Alli on. The guy is in the form of his life and he's only going to get better. But what I want to know from you guys at home is, can Tottenham keep hold of Dele Alli? We've heard him linked to Real Madrid in the past. I'm sure the Manchester club's going to be sniffing around. There's big wages coming in. Should he leave or should he stay? Vote in the poll right now.
Our final losers of the week are West Bromwich Albion, Jay.
Yeah, it's unusual for West Brom to be featured on this show, but they're actually having a really good season. 8th in the league. They put out a strong team on the weekend, went 1-0 up to Derby County in the Championship side, came back and beat them 2-1. He'll be disappointed, Tony Pulis. I'm sure he would have liked to have got further than the 3rd round, maybe even to about the 5th round. However, it might benefit him in the long run in terms of a Europa League push. 9% increase in the crowd numbers here. So whoever's written that stat down, congratulations. Nobody gives a flying fuck. But Derby, you have to take your hats off to him. That was a bit of a mesmeric performance. Last win against West Brom, of course, came back in 2007, and that was in the Championship playoff final.
Wow.
That is a long, long time ago. Matty Phillips, of course, got his goal, as he always does, and 12 goals in his last 11 games. He's been involved in 5 goals, 7 assists. He has been in scintillating form, so they did really well to keep him quiet after he got his first goal. But Derby County, take your hats off to the man, the Wally with a brolly, Steve McLaren, who's back at Derby. And he's taken a Premier League scalp, and it's Pulis's under that cap.
Well, yeah, he had Darren Bent on his team, mate.
Wow. I forgot he existed.
What a player, Darren Bent is a phenomenal goal scorer.
He is,
still.
yeah.
He scored in 9 of his last 10 FA Cup games, including each of his 4 for Derby County. So he and a nice free kick from Tom Ince put Derby through in this instance. West Brom actually took 28 shots in this game and got 7 on target. In comparison, Derby only took 7 total with 4 on target, and yet they managed to make them count. Possession was pretty even. In a way, this isn't West Brom's kind of game. They want to take on, they want to be the underdogs, where they can kind of like, they don't bother about possession, they can use their set pieces, they can use that enormous height they have.
Yeah.
It's harder for them when they have to dominate the game. But James Morrison did have the chance to put them 2-0 up after they went 1-0 up, and he'll be ruining that glaring opportunity because now they do not have a chance to go through and contest for the FA Cup. However, as Joe says, competing for the European places.
Madness.
Who'd have thought? Imagine Tony Pulis next season again, lining up against Vincenzo Montella, managers of that standing. It'd be incredible scenes.
Full bollock on, naked as they come, stood face to face with Montella, just wearing a cap. Shut your fucking mouth.
Nutting him in the shower, as we know he likes to. But anyway, West Brom, I'm afraid that you're in our losers.
Right, all weekend you guys have been sending in your shout-outs on Twitter to both me and Patrick. If you want to do it, just hit us up next weekend with the hashtag winners and losers. This weekend, first one, Aaron Toom says Olivier Giroud, very true, saves Arsenal every week, doesn't he, Pato? And he loves a last-minute goal. Did it against Preston and, of course, did it against Bournemouth as well. We've also got Philippe, who says Michy Batshuayi scored again and now has 4 goals in just 348 minutes at Chelsea, proving that he is a great goal scorer, might get a loan move to Swansea. However, one man who is coming to Chelsea is Nathan Ake. He has been recalled by Bournemouth, and Ardash has put him in his winners category after some great form for the Cherries, Pato.
Yeah, well, in the losers category, Kieran Linnane has suggested Bournemouth thanks to that 3-0 loss they suffered against Millwall after making 11 changes. More importantly, as Joe says, no Nathan Ake for the rest of the season. So that's a huge loss for Eddie Howe, his best defender. George Howell, Southampton, 3 losses on the bounce. And of course, Jose Font has made that transfer request.
China.
When you add that to the fact that Virgil van Dijk is probably going to go in the summer, they've got to rebuild a whole defence this year.
They always do it anyway.
Well, yeah, that's pretty true. And Mongezi Madinane, who said Everton, who lost 2-1 at home to Leicester, despite taking the lead in that game. Ahmed Musa, 2 strikes to cancel it out. Unlucky to the Toffees.
So that's all we've got time for on winners and losers, but make sure you catch Patrick Van Straten on Euro Roundup over on European Football Daily. Pato, what European teams are you covering this week, mate?
We're going to be looking at PSG, and of course we're going to be looking at Barcelona.
Oh, it's all gone wrong for Lucho. Nevertheless, thanks very much for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe.
Catch you next time.